For the first time in the Integrity Ignite series, it's time to take on Avondale, Arizona, under the lights. Welcome to qualifying in the Phoenix Raceway, a circuit we visited last season amid a heated championship battle, but this time around we're just over the first third point of the 2024 campaign. This is your 12th race of 2024. Welcome back live on FTN to the Integrity Ignite series, coverage just starting here in the Valley of the Sun 120, and it's great to have you all with us here as we're just moments away from breaking in to our main feature. I'll be your host for tonight's event, commentating and producing. I'm David Kreutz, and we hope you stick around for over 100 laps of racing tonight, 120 on the dot. Currently, Cody Smith finds himself on the pole position, and right now, 18 drivers have taken the time, going back to DJ Stagner in the number 64. So a majority of the field has already put at least one lap in, and we should see a little bit more of that as this session progresses. 21 times have been taken now, with a total of 24 drivers on the track. There's Thomas Bresci, and we were talking about this being a huge storyline, the parity of this season. Only one repeat winner in Thomas Bresci. He's got 2 so far, which is not a high amount by any means, but 2 is the highest count we've got. So Bresci doing a real good job of rebounding, getting that second victory at Dover. Hasn't been the best of seasons so far for him. Not all too dominant at the road courses, missing out on a win at Watkins Glen. But his first victory at the Circuit of the Americas really helping him out and propelling him into the championship picture. And his second win, the highest of all drivers in this series, puts him once again back in the picture. We might have to talk a little bit more about that 24 as the night progresses. Bresci down and in. Gael Brooks going to be on the way. And the number 71 DeWalt machine now taking the rounds. As Brooks comes across the stripe again, Gael going to be one of our final 2 drivers to take a time. It looks like Jacob Fife and Travis McQuistion will not be setting laps, and Todd Thomas just joined the session, so maybe an opportunity for him to set a lap down in final practice, but currently does not appear like we will be seeing him anytime before that point. Brooks coming across the stripe here, going to end qualifying, and looks like not going to be able to set a time. Every lap he's put down has been invalidated. Chris DeWeese, thank you for stopping by. Great to have you here in the entire number 13 fan club for Braxton DeWeese. Right now, Braxton going to be in 3rd, one of the fan favorites in this series. Justin Morton is now down to 12th. Brooks is coming down and in, and there is nobody currently on the circuit, and it looks like with that being said, qualifying has slightly prematurely concluded. Every driver off the track, 23 have taken a time, and 27 have joined tonight's event. And a familiar face in DJ Stagner has returned to the top, your inaugural Ignite Series champion, looking to go for a victory here in Arizona. Qualifying is over, and DJ Stagner's number 64 is sitting on the pole. Wait now for the final session scoring to be calculated for the 4 drivers who did not put a time in, so we're giving them a position right now, and it looks like Gael Brooks will be starting at the dead end of the field as a result of final calculations. At the top of the board for tonight's event, take a look at your front row in the Valley of the Sun 120. It's going to be DJ Stagner with a 26.67. Right there, Stagner at the top of the board, 7.67, just a few hundredths quicker than Cody Smith, who had a 26.785. Braxton DeWeese is going to be in 3rd with a 26.885, and Matthew Thunhorse finds himself outside of row 2. Mr. Consistency looking for what would be his 8th podium of the season, 26.906 for the driver, the number 8, and Rob Ackley rounds out the top 5. Ackley, a driver you got to watch out for. He's one of the drivers with 1 victory so far in this campaign, and parity has come in his favor as he's still up there in the fight. Ryan Potter, who's slowly but surely been showing a lot more qualifying speed as of late, maybe a driver to keep an eye out for once again. He is in 6th tonight with a 26.926 in qualifying, and Don Stevenson, he's there in 7th, 26.939. Seb Miller going to be position number 8 with a 26.955, and Chad Mikus is 1,000th of a second behind. Not the best race for him at Dover, got caught up in a late race incident. Either way, starting inside the top 10 here with Chuck Sweeting, the final driver in the top 10 there with a 26.974. Next up on the order, going to be Thomas Bressi in 11th, and it's going to be Justin Morton in 12th, and then Michael Stroll going to be 13th. 14th spot, then in there is going to go to Brandon Bernhardt. You're going to have Adam Wood in the number 45 machine just behind Brian McFerrin and Kyle Cooper. Wood going to be there in 17th, and Vinny Tigner is going to find himself now in the 18th spot. Cody Urban going to be 19th, and Stephen Wetton then 20th spot. To round out the starting grid, it's going to be 4 drivers who did not take a time behind Cal Fularski, Alan Rawell, and Forrest Smith. Smith, final driver with the lap set. Then it's going to be Jacob Fife in 24th, Todd Thomas in 25th, Travis McQuistion in 26th, and Gael Brooks, the 27th and final driver in tonight's qualifying roundout. 14 rows, 27 drivers, 1 track. Here at the virtual Phoenix Raceway, that is your starting grid. Michael Stroll with a little bit of a different look tonight. You'll see the chrome and the deep red right there for the number 3. And Stroll right now going to be at the top of the board in your second practice session. Michael Stroll, a driver looking for his first win in 2024, got himself a victory last year, and it was an exciting race at Michigan. Ever since then, of course, we've known he's had the speed to go for it again. It was a first-round exit from the Clash last season. Of course, looking for an opportunity to rebound and maybe put himself up in title contention. Right now, Stroll quick, but he's starting in 13th tonight, so at the middle of the pack with a 27.027, a dead heat lap with Justin Morton, so he's got the speed to maybe fight for the top 10, but we'll see what else he has as the night goes on. A lot of drivers here, of course, still getting to grips with the track conditions. They are changing. Not going to be a daytime event. You're seeing the sun is already setting, and by the time we hit lap number 50 in this race, we're going to see it's going to be pitch black out there. The stadium lights are going to come back on. Todd Thomas on the track right now, one of your drivers who did not set a lap in qualifying, and the only driver to not set a lap in neither practice or qualifying to this point. So Todd's gotten on the circuit for the first time, and he's right there in front of Cal Fularski. And now running side by side with the 91 is Thomas Bressi. Thomas makes a pass, quickly goes down and under, going to chop deep, use the dog leg to make up a little bit of extra position there as the Exalta Chevrolet runs down to the bottom, comes through the middle of the corner, and it's getting set to go for it all over again. Take a ride on board for Thomas Bressi's number 24, and we'll show you what a lap is like here in Phoenix. Bressi right now going to find himself 6th on the board, fighting with, for a brief moment there, the 91, although Gael Brooks going to stick it up in the wall, and Brooks in trouble, but Stephen Wetton, no problems for the number 10 right now, 20th in qualifying and fastest here in our second practice session, only for Justin Morton to do what I believe he did last week, and a last-second jump up to the top of the board. Morton quickest, I think he rode the wall in that one, and he's going to have the fastest lap in our practice sessions tonight at the very last second. Well, practice has concluded. Qualifying is over, and now it's time to figure out what it takes to succeed here in Phoenix. The mile-long circuit in Avondale, Arizona, home currently to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship, Xfinity Series Championship, and Truck Series Championships, respectively. Also home to ARCA's biggest race, where over 45 drivers come out to Phoenix for a combined event with all the regional series and the national level. It's a historic track, has 35 years of racing experience under it, and right now, DJ Stagner looking to see whether or not he can conquer this circuit. It was the previous home to the Octane Series Championship race, and of course, part of the Ignite Series title fight as well. So these drivers are very well versed in this circuit. If you've been on iRacing long enough, most likely you've had a run-in, at least one, with the Phoenix Raceway in some form or another. And a lot of these drivers have seen what it takes to win here. It's changed quite a bit in the past 15 years. There are two versions of this track on iRacing. This is the newer of which, and it has the brand new reconfiguration of the track, where the order of the entire circuit is much different. You have the start-finish line in a curve. The back straightaway is, well, the back straightaway now, but it was the front straightaway where the start-finish line was. Instead, we have our line at an arc. Your final turn is now the first turn, and you see turns 1 and 2. They used to be 3 and 4. Come down this straightaway, and no longer is this the point where you get to the start-finish line. It's the longest straightaway of the circuit, the only straight that's, of course, any size and worth noting. Then you bring it down to the start-finish line for DJ Stagner to rein us in. Stagner already with an exciting victory at the Nashville Superspeedway. He's looking for what would be his second. Cody Smith looking for what would be his first. Drivers dropping down to the inside of the very circuit that we're looking at tonight, Phoenix Raceway, and we're due to race under the lights in Arizona. Green flags out for DJ Stagner, and we are underway in the Valley of the Sun 120. Stagner with a nice jump as he brings him out the dogleg. Out already back in the field, Alan Rawell and Forrest Smith involved, and it looks like the 69 gonna slide. Smith, he's gonna slide as well. No major damage. Everyone looks to be just fine, but the caution flies regardless, and we'll be back under pacing, so a little bit of a delayed start for the most of the field as Forrest Smith ends up making a little bit of contact here. I think Rawell might have gotten a little bit of the piece first. We'll see what happens here. Allen up top, and Forrest comes up. Netcode contact perhaps at first, but they definitely hit each other, and then we see the caution fly for the first time tonight. We'll ride on board with Forrest Smith here and maybe try to figure out a little bit more of what it was like. He drifted up, but I think he knew he was drifting up, so we'll see what happened from there. And looking at it here, you're going to see coming up the track, and it looks like eventually, yes, that contact did become no doubt, but it looks like maybe at first some netcode, and just like that, yellow flag is out. A little bit of distance, but Brooks gets away. Forrest Smith and Alan Rawell both not really going to catch anything major in terms of damage. They're down to pit road regardless here. Same goes for Travis McQuistion, Gael Brooks, Stephen Wetton, and Jacob Fife. Up in front, no major changes, and DJ Stagner's your race leader off the jump. He's got it there with Smith and Braxton Deweese. The Raging Cajun, number 64, DJ Stagner, finds himself the race leader currently, and he finds himself up there now, of course, leading the only laps of the day. 3 we've seen so far. The Valley of the Sun 120 here in the Integrity Racing League as it brings us very close to our summer break. But with that being said, a little bit more excitement to keep your eyes peeled on before then. Here's the lineup that we have of our next few scheduled races from here until the next leg of the tour. We've got Charlotte coming up, and that's going to be May 20th. Then Memorial Day going to be off. Rockingham June 3rd. Sonoma is going to be a good one for 50 laps. You might have seen a familiar race at Sonoma, the SRL Cup Series last night on FTN. They had a pretty good show, and I'll hope for a very similar result. We went to Sonoma last year in the Octane Series, gave us some good racing. It ended up being a battle between Seth Noel, Don Stevenson, Caitlin Hyde, and the like. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of which when we come back there. Michigan, Michael Stroll may be looking to defend, and Kern County, our final race before summer break. That's one to look out for, and it's going to be an exciting one. I don't think there's anyone who has any particular advantage. Kern County, new to iRacing, and it's a track that's deceiving in its own right. Phoenix, one track that caught a few drivers out already, and our first trouble of the day, a brief spin or two for Alan Rawell and Forrest Smith. Field's going to get back in order. Smith one lap down, and then DJ Stagner who brings us down and in. Let's get at it one more time here with Stagner on the bottom and Cody Smith up top. DJ with the jump. Green flags out for your first restart of the night. As it stands, Braxton Deweese going to hold second. It's going to be DJ Stagner who finds himself the current race leader coming out of 4. No trouble as he gets off the exit. DJ going to lead by about 0.2 of a second. Matthew Thunhorse coming inside the podium once again. And Thunhorse, the king of the podium this season, looking to go for yet another top 3. Now, the championship race very tight coming into this event. And it came down to Thunhorse and Braxton Deweese breaking a championship tie last week. It's at 4-point favor for Braxton Deweese as a result of his advantage in position. When he came down to his results last week, Deweese did exactly what he needed to, fending off Matthew Thunhorse. Even though Thomas Bressie won, the championship tie was broken. So, a very good run for the both of them, but it came down to only one spot. In all honesty, Braxton Deweese getting the bonus points and 1 position. That's all he needed, and currently finds himself a championship contender. Nick Tarbuck is 28 points out, and currently coming off of what was not the best of races for that 29 crew. Tarbuck doesn't appear to be with us tonight, matter of fact, so unfortunately he can't do much about his point scenario. DJ Stagner going to be working through, and while he's not here to become a championship contender, Stagner absolutely knows what it takes here to win. He's done so already, and he's 13th in the championship standings despite running only 8 races so far. We've seen him for most of the season, hasn't really come through for a full-time campaign in all honesty, but he's giving us a good show once again, and when DJ's quick, very hard to knock him off the top. The inaugural Ignite Series champion, a Highline Racing League champion as well, and he seems to be the ace of the Truck Series SuperSpeedway event on the Tuesday night tour, which just came to a close last week. By no means is DJ Stagner a slouch, and you're seeing it once again. 10 laps in, he has the race lead and has it convincingly. Braxton Deweese is going to remain a little bit further back. Ryan Potter is in 4th, and we've been talking about more and more the dynamic between Ryan Potter and DJ Stagner as of recent for Swamp Motorsports. That number 99, he has been most often the driver trailing his teammate in the races we've seen him in. However, DJ Stagner has told us multiple times before, and Ryan Potter has shown us he's got pace inside of that car, something that it maybe not being realized to the fullest, but when Ryan Potter's quick, he does get those good starts the races good with those short-term runs. It all comes down to finishing it off, and that has been the Achilles heel for this entire organization. Down to 5th, they'll let Chad Mikas go by. Chad looking for a good rebound run tonight, and he fell back 2 positions of the championship after what happened at Dover, so he's going to be going through quickly, trying to make up those spots, and with the top 2 points in front of you, and now Braxton Deweese going down to the inside for the lead. You can't afford to lose anything more. Braxton now down to the bottom side, cutting the dog leg, and he's got himself the race lead, but it's not done yet. DJ Stagner remains just a groove and a half higher, and Braxton cuts deep again. Going to be neck and neck as they come off of turn number 2. Deweese, not the best run off the corner. DJ going to have a much bigger advantage with the speed off, and you'll see there DJ Stagner up in front in the Ragin' Cajun 64, and carrying himself off the corner much better is going to be the key to his success here. You see him making it right back out. Nice move there. DJ Stagner finds herself forced to lead again. Matthew Thunhorse is going to be second side by side with Braxton Deweese. And right now, Braxton may be going for a little bit too much, and he drops back a position and might be at a risk of dropping a second. Chad Mikas now making himself known, and he's going to slot right back up. It's about a groove high now for the 25, and he will work topside to take that 3rd position right away. Nice move there for the National Guard 25 crew. Now Chad Mikas looking for a podium again, and of course, with the king of podiums right ahead, it's going to be very tricky to get away from Matthew Thunhorse. Matthew with 7 top 5s so far this season, I believe all of which have been podium finishes, and he'd be looking for his 8th tonight. He has been consistent unlike any other driver. Our points leader, Braxton Deweese, has 7 top 10s, but only 5 top 5s and 1 pole. Matthew has 2 poles, and he has himself 7 top 5s. No other driver has been in the top 5 category as much. Chad Mikas has been close, admittedly, and he can tie that number if Matthew does not get a top 5 tonight. He has 6 at this point, but it seems like Matthew Thunhorse has found a way to be consistent every single race, hitting 3rd, hitting 2nd, and he's even hit a win once, which is the 2nd highest total. He's only tied with about 9 other drivers for that accolade. and he's going to try to go for the lead himself. Now Matthew goes down to the inside, going to come right down through the apron and wash a bit further up. That was a risk and a half, but it looks like he's all fine, and will come off the corner once again, right there, dead even with DJ Stagner. So Matthew Thunhorse now going to take a peek down low, try to punch through on that lead that Stagner currently has at the line again. It looks like DJ's been able to hold himself nicely despite the pressure. And Chad Mikus now waiting in the wings, and maybe he's up next to try and go for it here. DJ Stagner is going to fend off another charge for the lead, and looking very good to do so once again. See what he can do. Matthew Thunhorse going to find himself middle of the podium. Chad Mikus upcoming, and Ryan Potter now dueling with Braxton Deweese. Braxton going to fade back just a little bit more. How's about we ride on board with the 13 here and see what's going on as he fights to get back inside the podium. Right now, Braxton Deweese going to be a few tenths of a second away from Chad Mikus, and Ryan Potter has remained on him, but it looks like now there's some more pressure for the 99 to focus on in the rearview mirror. There goes Don Stevenson, and Don, looking for fifth, is going to make a call down to the inside at the end of turn 4, and Stevenson now going to be in fifth, tentatively speaking, as he gets by Ryan Potter. He's going to go side by side one more time. Very close call right now between the 47 and the 99 as they go side by side through the corner again. Thomas Bresci going to be 8th, and Michael Stroll is now 9th, Rob Ackley 10th, and Chuck Sweeting is 11th. Right now, it looks like the top 10 still bunched up nicely. Only one retiree in Todd Thomas. Looks like he disconnected for the day. A little bit of trouble for him early, and as such, he's fallen out of contention. Michael Stroll is in 9th, and we speculated how well he'd be able to compete inside the top 10. It looks like so far, he's in there. He's inside the single digits, so he's broken through for 4 positions so far. Not a bad gain, however slight it's been, and maybe there's a little bit more in the tank as this goes on, because Stroll got a new look, maybe going for a new best finish this season. What an opportunity that would be as the sun continues to set here in Phoenix. It's the up front crew, DJ Stagner, Matthew Thunhorse, Chad Mikus trying to break away a bit further, but Braxton Deweese has not made himself a lone traveler. He's still just behind your overall race leaders, and trio's gotten out and ahead. Really don't have to worry about all too much. Besides that 13, Ryan Potter has been able to fend Don Stevenson off for 5th, so it looks like that defense has worked out quite well. The 99 now going to run right behind Braxton. Don Stevenson still there, and if you take a look on the rearview mirror's perspective, Stevenson, he's about a car length back, and he's going to drop back big, trying to get a better exit out the corner, drop it to the apex, and going to defend upon Cody Smith, but it looks like for Stevenson, getting a bit loose, and now Cody Smith puts himself up top. Meanwhile, Thomas Bresci going to be there. You see the number 24 coming through, and courtesy of Thomas Bresci, once again, we can provide you in-car access to the Chevy Camaro number 24, and you'll see exactly what's going on here. Bresci giving us that additional camera feed tonight, and right now, working with all the angles, you'll see Bresci right now fending off Michael Stroll and even trying to get in the mix with Stevenson and Cody Smith. The Exalta Chevrolet that we see right here, 8th place, Thomas Bresci, running solid so far, and if you look at the bottom right of your screen, he's feeling everything inside the virtual cockpit as if he's there. Now, you see as he works his way down the straight, looking a little bit more into his left side, getting a view of Don Stevenson, seeing Stevenson cut right back under. Looks at Bresci now with an opportunity to go for that 7th spot. He's going to keep on fighting for it here all the while. Michael Stroll also looking on, and Cody Smith trying to get away again. But looks like Cody up in the high side, nearly catching some contact. And he's going to save himself and keep on going regardless. Smith Could have been a little bit more damage there for the 18, but looks like he's all well and good. And now coming back up on Ryan Potter. Potter's remained inside the top 5 so far, but conditions have drastically shifted, and this is something that you gotta keep your eyes peeled for, because if you have yourself a changing racetrack, the driver who's fastest right now will definitely not be fastest as the race progresses, unless, of course, they've adapted perfectly, which is very challenging to do. Then right now, it all comes down to the conditions and who they favor. DJ Stagner's done a real good job of managing it in the early sundown of this event. We still got ourselves 40-plus laps to go, and if you can't hold on for now, it's going to become even more tricky as the race goes on. So maybe Potter's struggling a little bit more with that right now as he's got Cody Smith on him. Smith, he was susceptible to a mistake or two previously. It's not like he is free of problems. Maybe a few other drivers going to be slipping back more. Doug Middendorf in the chat room, thank you for stopping by as well. Right now, it looks like your championship fight might swing backwards after today. Braxton Weiss in 4th and Matthew Thunhorst in 2nd. These two have stepped up to the occasion. It looks like every race we see them in now, they're going top 5 repeatedly, race after race. And these drivers have been able to hold each other down nicely. The consistency between them has been unrivaled so far, and I think given the fact it's a full points system going into our final races of this campaign, you've got to be consistent. There's no way around it, and you just got to keep on driving until the job is done. Every race matters, and the point system becomes even more important when you acknowledge the fact that these drivers have to keep working at it no matter what type of track it is. There is no break for anyone in this field. DJ Stagner right now going to be going up to the top side again, trying to get that lead back. He's been good at making it work for drivers to go down and below him. Just wait about a lap or two and maybe send it back in. Thunhorst with a near advantage at the line, and the gap between both of them that time was 30 thousandths of a second, and that's a 12 thousandth jump. What it was, 18 thousandths the lap prior. So DJ Stagner managing the gap right now, but it's a tiny gap at that. And Thunhorst coming up the track, a little less room. He's got no choice but to concede, and he'll give that spot right back. Chad Mikas now looking down for 2nd, and Chad, a driver who might be looking for his first ever race victory in this series. Look at that number 25. He's getting closer and closer once more. This hasn't happened, and Chad Mikas remains a few spots back. Matthew Thunhorst going to be 2nd, and DJ Stagner is in 1st. Mikas got close, but now he's going to be at the clutches of Braxton DeWeese. Top 4 breaking away. Looks like Braxton up there with your leaders. Then Thomas Bresci, who's gotten himself in 5th, getting by both Cody Smith and Ryan Potter. Potter going to find himself in the 7th spot, and he's there, sitting pretty as it stands in that number 99. Potter trying to defend upon Don Stevenson. He's done a good job of just that for the previous 20-plus laps, but maybe right now a little bit more fatigue because Stevenson has kept up on him, and he's looking for another route to get her under. And this time he's going to go quite literally under to the bottom side of the track, which might leave the door open for Michael Stroll, and that it does. Maybe the exact opposite of what he expected or intended for Stevenson. He is going to have Michael Stroll now right beside him. Rob Ackley in the Rackley, number 22, also right there. And Chuck Sweeting, who qualified in 10th, has only fallen one spot further back, and he is there in the mix all the same. There's the number 75. He's in 11th, and he was the driver, of course, who won at Texas, his first ever win in this series, and it was a long time coming for Sweeting, a driver who has great flashes of that winning potential, and finally getting the chance to show it for an entire event. That was, of course, a breakout night for the 75 crew. Maybe a few more have an opportunity to do so as the season progresses. Chuck Sweeting getting his moment, Jacob Fife immediately thereafter winning his very first, and Braxton DeWeese, who's been a championship contender, getting his first ever race victory. That was, of course, USA International Speedway against the aforementioned Jacob Fife. 37 laps in, DJ Stagner, the veteran, now going to keep himself tight to Matthew Thunhorst. It's going to be turns 1 and 2. The 8th car goes up top. DJ going to block every lane possible and staying in the middle. He has an opportunity to move up or move down wherever he chooses. And it's a very, very solid strategy for Stagner right now, letting everyone else be aggressive, a little bit more calm each and every time by. For Stagner, he's seen exactly what the other drivers want to do to him, and he's just let it happen. Being aggressive, of course, takes a little bit more energy. Stagner's quick, but he hasn't had to worry about putting down any pressure, and I think that's been the big thing saving him. Everyone else has to make a move around him. Meanwhile, he's the driver who absolutely puts himself in control with the qualifying run he had. Pole position has led just about every lap on the day, save for maybe one at this point. He has been dominant as he's due to come across the line yet again. The Raging Cajun, number 64, leads at lap number 39. Justin Morton right now going to be with Cody Erdman. Here's a battle a little bit further back in the field, and Cody's going to find himself right under Morton. The 51 going to be in 14th tentatively, and Justin Morton now in 13th. Running in the middle of the field, you see a few drivers getting into some battles. Kyle Cooper's just ahead of Morton and Erdman, and Jacob Fife, who's gone from 24th up to 15th. Not a bad day in the slightest for Fife. Out of every driver who started outside the top 20, he's made the biggest gains. Kyle Brooks from 27th up to 19th. Another admirable performance, but nobody else has made it that far and gone this high. So, Fife in 15th right now, maybe a chance to keep on going and come home with a solid top 10. Cody Erdman right now going to be in that 14th position. Justin Morton 13th, and Kyle Cooper in 12th, coming up on Ackley and Don Stevenson. Rob Ackley right now going to be in 10th as Chuck Sweeting fades back big. And it looks like trouble there for the number 75 as he's going to get swallowed back profusely. Now going to put himself down to 14th for what was the final spot inside the top 10 just a few laps ago. Ryan Potter gets by Michael Stroll. That's good for 7th. Looks like Stroll had an opportunity to take it there, just couldn't quite seal the deal. And as such, now number 3 machine goes through again at the line, trying to fend off Don Stevenson. Cody Smith, Thomas Bressi have gotten by, making some moves. Bressi from 11th to 5th so far. Cody Smith has started in 2nd. However, he's dropped back just a little bit more than he'd like and still remains in 6th with a chance to go for the top 5. DeWeese is 4th, Mike is 3rd, Matthew Thunhorst in 2nd, and DJ Stagner there in 1st. Top 2 coming across the line, separate by 3/10, and if you look off the back bumper now, DJ Stagner, yeah, he is clear, and he is clearing away. DJ Stagner still going to keep the gap 0.2 of a second. Matthew Thunhorst still going to keep himself just as close as he can, but hasn't quite gotten the room or the rhythm to make it through just yet. Co-pilot's number 91 of Cal Filarski drops back. That's about 1/10 of a second behind, and he's dropping back even further. Filarski a lapper, going 1 lap down. Ford Smith is 3 down. Alan Rawell had connection troubles and disconnected, not by his choice. Todd Thomas manually disconnecting before all got started here tonight. 45 laps in out of 120, and so far we've been in a calm run after our first 1 lap caution that we saw. And now Ryan Potter going to go up top, Michael Stroll low, and it looks like that time by Potter was pushed up to the top. Not necessarily contact, but it was that arrow shove, and he got sent way higher than he'd like to be. Not a safe position for a driver looking to gain spots. Usually you want to keep yourself in a little bit of a bubble. Going up to the wall, not really going to help you here at this track. Even DJ Stagner, who's been using every line, has not been a frequent of the drivers of line up top. Few other drivers have decided to go for that very same strategy. Coming across here, the RV parking lot down our current back straightaway. It's going to be Chad Mikas in 3rd, Braxton Deweese 4th, and Thomas Bressi 5th. Bressi has been gaining and gaining and gaining, looking for an opportunity to get back inside the podium. With the back-to-back podiums for the 24, winning at Dover, and now looking for another opportunity again. Just like that, it's going to be the Exalted 24 within the mix. Take a look on board now with Bressi as he's fighting with Deweese and Mikas. Bressy right now going to be just about a total of a second and a half off of your current race leader, and he is there currently fighting himself. Braxton Deweese, Chad Mikas, and Matthew Thunors. Gap between Stagner and Thunors right now going to be 0.3, and it's remained constant for several laps. Currently, it looks like 49 laps in out of 120. Matthew Thunors not having a chance to make it through for the race lead, but definitely has gotten close. And you got to wonder, for the drivers who have made it here repeatedly, what's it going to take to get past Stagner? Because so far, he has been the driver above all else tonight. 50 laps in out of 120, and despite all the attempts, nobody's gotten by him. And I think right now, Stagner definitely more confident than ever as the night has progressed, and the Valley of the Sun 120 has most often been in his possession. Chad Mikas up top, there goes Braxton Deweese, and he's going to find himself right up to the top of the track to defend the 25. Close call, but everything is going to stay just fine there for the drivers who are in this pack. Close racing, but no major contact. Chad Mikas remains a slight car length ahead right now relative to the rest of the field he's fighting with. Thomas Bressy's going to be behind, but not close enough to make that pass. A lunge doesn't look to be applicable right now. And while he's had himself close, the distance has been just a bit too much to make any sort of impact on his racing. Cody Smith going to be in 6th, Michael Storer going to be 7th, and Don Stevenson going to be 8th. 9th spot going to be Rob Ackley, and Ryan Potter position number 10. You look back right now, and Ryan Potter getting fought by Justin Morton. Looks like Justin Morton now making up a few positions of his own. And maybe an opportunity for him to slide through and take another spot. As it stands, he's going to go under and over. It's Justin Morton with a quick pass as Ryan Potter fades beyond the view of the number 9. Now into the dog leg. Chuck Sweeting takes another position. Sweeting going to be right now in 11th, Morton in 10th, Ackley then 9th. Don Stevenson going to be 8th spot, Michael Stroll 7th, and you want to look at a close battle. There's Jacob Fife right now looking for another spot. Fife going to go all the way down and in, and you see how aggressive that cut's going to be. The 36 decides to go as low as possible, and that's going to be a move on Kyle Cooper for 14th. And there's a lot of room here in Phoenix, a little bit more than you'd expect for these drivers to use, but you can go all the way down to practically pit exit and then go back up the track again. Not necessarily the best thing to do for most drivers, but Fife finding a little bit more out of it, and you'll see as he comes off the corner once again how deep he's going to go, and he's going to cut all the way under, down by the commitment line, and get back on the way so we can stay side by side here with the number 73. Fife is there, and so is Kyle Cooper. Coming across the stripe one more time here. It's going to be a close mix-up between Fife and the 73 of Cooper, but it looks like now Jacob with the advantage. Coming close, 56 laps in out of 120, and Jacob now going to be there firmly inside the top 15, and on the border it is still Kyle Cooper. Cody Erdman coming up on Ryan Potter. Looks like Potter's still losing a few more spots as we speak. There's Ryan running right now in 12th. And although he's got himself a little bit more trouble on his hands now as he lost these positions, he's held on nicely to stay inside the top 15. And we're a few laps away from, of course, the halfway point. And for most of these drivers, I think we're looking at a halfway strategy call. Going to be one pit stop as we do not see the need for anything additional. If you made it this far, you can go down to the end of the race on just one more stop, which is going to be a rapid, quick event if that's the pace we keep going at. Phoenix is a fast track, especially when it comes down to long, clean races like this. Now, championship tension's not going to be at our all-time peak of the season here. Right now, for these drivers, there's a lot going on in their minds besides the championship, and the biggest of deals is going to be just keeping yourself in a good position, looking for those good points nights, and making yourself another good run, a complete run. Now, Phoenix is not one of those tracks where you can storm up through the field and cause a lot of trouble. It simply just doesn't work like that unless you got yourself the quickest car by a long shot. And right now, one driver has the quickest car, and that's DJ Stagner, but he's already the leader, so there's really not much else he can do besides lapping drivers and extending that lead, which he's done both of which so far. He's got a 13/10 of a second lead, which is up 10 for the last time we checked up on it. DJ's made moves, and even though he's not lost a position or gained any, he's definitely extending what he has as Matthew Thunhorse comes down and in. There's the number 8 heading to pit road for the first time tonight. Chris DeWeese in the chat, and he said it for us this time. Hitting the like button and subscribing gets you unlimited chat room access, and we would love to hear what you have to say as we are getting into the second half of this race. Matthew Thunhorse going to be your first big contender coming down and in, and it looks like he's right there. The number 8 dropping into pit road, and Cody Smith now fighting side by side with Chad Mikas. DJ Stagner going to lead the way as we have 60 laps to go here in Phoenix, and he's run a real good night in terms of his performance, consistent as ever. Tire wear has not been major, and one big reason for that, well, as it stands, 76 degrees, partly cloudy, and a track temperature of 83 degrees, so not a major disparity, and overall very mild conditions. Nothing too much to worry about. If you've been on the track this long, you've experienced it. Not a major difficulty to keep on going with very mild conditions, and the winds southwest bound at 8 miles an hour, so nothing too extreme on that front as well. It's going to be a beautiful night here in the virtual Phoenix Raceway, and Cody Smith opts to come in this time by, and here comes Cody. There's the number 18 coming through. Caution! We got contact. It's going to be Brandon Bernhardt getting into pit road, but trouble for Stephen Wetton, and Wetton will spin. And this throws a wrench into our strategy here. Some drivers came down to pit road, some others did not. The yellow flag is out, and maybe Wetton just missed his pit stall here, as we got a yellow flag, most unexpected. Our second of the night, and our first since lap 1. Take a look here. He came back up the dogleg and is now coming through turns 1 and 2. Stephen Wetton now going to be in the lower groove of the track, and he drifts and comes back up, so he's just going to overcorrect it, and that is a yellow flag. Caution's out. The motor looks to be a little bit more damaged than we expected, and he comes in, smoke not billowing, but we did see some crushing on the front end. Caution out. Damage is major. Stephen Wetton gonna have trouble from here getting back on the circuit. Live on FTN, you see drivers rushing into pit road right now, and so we got to see who's gonna come in and who's gonna stay out. As it stands, most of the field just gonna come in regardless of what happened. There's DJ Stagner, Rob Ackley gonna be second, and Michael Stroll now gonna be tentatively third. Looks like Stroll just got himself the race lead, choosing to stay out in front. Getting off of pit road, DJ Stagner over Chad Mikas, Don Stevenson, Rob Ackley, and then Chuck Sweeting with Cody Erdman following. Then see Kyle Cooper, Vinny Tigner, Seb Miller, Jacob Fife, Gael Brooks, and Travis McQuistion, with now the 07 machine of Brian McFerrin coming out as well. McFerrin now going to move up to 16th, and it looks like Cody Smith is your overall race leader with 57 laps to go. Change of pace, new leader, the 18 is up in front. It looks like he's dropping back, which will give DJ Stagner once again the overall top position. DJ Stagner, a man on a mission tonight, looking to lead once more. A few drivers caught nearly 1 lap down. Thomas Bresci, Michael Stroll, Justin Morton, Ryan Potter, Brandon Bernhardt, Cal Filarski is 1 lap down. So a few drivers who nearly got themselves in trouble, but for Stroll on back, it looks like they're going to be waved around and not going to have to worry about being put 1 down under. Stephen Wetton can have himself now a little bit further back as he just retired. He will be finishing in 24th, and a few drivers who were competing for the lead have been sent back big. 14th for Braxton DeWeese, 15th for Cody Smith. Matthew Thunhorse now going to be 16th. It looks like DJ Stagner makes the right call in staying out a little bit longer. And while all his other contemporaries decided to come down and in, maybe the strength of the field up in front is going to be a little bit easier to handle for Stagner. Might be the biggest advantage he's gotten out of this race all night long. It's a shift up at the front of the field, and the Ragin' Cajun, number 64, is the only driver who lasts. side by side, 1 lap to green. DJ Stagner down low, and your race leader all throughout this event once again holds control live on FTN. For those of you tuning in for the first time tonight, welcome back to FTN. This is the Valley of the Sun 120. Great to have you here. And Phoenix Raceway is giving us a good show. You're coming back after our second caution of the night. We're again set to roll out one more time. DJ Stagner in a number 64 is your race leader, and it's about time we get going green once again here. It's going to be the 64 bottom side, and he is set to lead us back to the start-finish line once again. Going to be 54 laps remaining after this point, and Stagner pulls us through. Green flags out as the Asian Cajun Camaro brings us right back. Green flag flies. Or does it? Looks like it's going to be an extension. Pit road. The pace car went. It'll have to come back out. Caution has been extended, and there's the pace truck again. So we'll go at it next time by with 53 laps to go. Late call to extend the caution, and it looks like the green flag will not go that time by. It'll come back this time around. Almost had us wondering where did it go, but looks like everything is fine. DJ Stagner going to be the leader again, and the same field right behind him. Chad Micah second, Don Stevenson third, and Rob Ackley fourth. This time by, no late extension on the caution, and the green flag will indeed fly at lap number 68. Let's get at it one more time. It's going to be Stagner, your race leader, and Micah's in second. Green flag and drop, and here we go again. The Asian Cajun 64 brings us back to green. Coming across the stripe, DJ Stagner at lap number 69 builds up a nice 0.3 of a second lead, and he is up in front now with Chad Micas fighting for second. Don Stevenson right beside him. So far, Stagner has maintained himself as the quickest driver despite all the condition changes, and it looks like for most other drivers that's too much a challenge to muster, but tonight, DJ Stagner in full control as he comes across the line now for lap number 70. It's going to be Stagner, your race leader, and Chad Micas there in second. Don Stevenson going to be third, and Rob Ackley is in fourth. Fifth place goes to Chuck Sweeting, and Kyle Cooper is sixth, with Cody Urban seventh, Seb Miller eighth, Jacob Fife ninth, and Vinny Tigger rounding out the top 10. Right now for Cody Smith, who finds himself a few spots back. He's representing tonight and every night in the Integrity Racing League Next Level Racing. For high-quality sim racing performance products made for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best, Next Level Racing is the place to be. NextLevelRacing.com provides high-quality sim racing equipment and has done so since 2009. No other place to go besides Next Level Racing, and we would hope you check them out as they've got a fantastic referral program going on with the Integrity Racing League crew, and we'll tell you a little bit more after we come back from our break here. You're watching the Valley of the Sun 120 with 50 laps to go, and we'll return after the following message from our friends at Next Level Racing. We welcome you back live on FTN with 46 laps remaining. Chad Mikus is looking quick, and number 25 going to dive down to the inside line, looking for the race lead. Mikus sends it through, and all of a sudden now that Chevy Camaro looking to make it a bow tie battle up in front, side by side, and this is the first time Stagner has faced the heat in this stint. Maybe a chance for him to defend once again. It looks like he does so, and DJ Stagner has been the best at defending so far, but yeah, Chad Mikus, all of a sudden, he's got himself up there fighting for the race lead, and given how far ahead he is on all the other championship contenders, this could be major for that 25 crew if they come out with a good finish tonight, let alone a race victory, which could be all the propellant he needs to get back in the top 3 in points after what was admittedly a dismal race at Dover for his standards. Mikus has been end over end, one of the most improved drivers this year. We saw him last year, wasn't much of a threat for a top 5 on a consistent basis, but all of a sudden, Mikus has come back and he's put things together much, much better. And it looks like every week, no matter it is about strategy, it's about raw pace, or about consistency, Chad Mikus possesses that, and he possesses it in spades. He's been a much better driver repeatedly, and you're seeing it right now as he's going to give DJ Stagner a second bout. We'll see which one comes out with the top spot after this, because Mikus gets a good run in and out, but is it good enough off the corner? It looks like not just yet. DJ Stagner is going to keep him honest. It's been side by side repeatedly now for about a 5-lap span. Nothing too long just yet, but we'll see what Mikus can do as he cuts deep into the dog leg, tries to get a nice run out, and it looks like still side by side, nearly contact, and Mikus goes sliding, but he's going to save it. That's all Chad had, and it looks like it's going to be a drop back to second, and DJ Stagner gets away. My oh my, that was close. Take a look back and you'll see how it was on the back bumper, because Stagner must have panicked for at least a split second in that ordeal. Take a look one more time and you'll see what happened as Mikus came right back up from the dog leg and almost gave both these drivers reason to panic. I think it might have been panic regardless, as near contact, and Chad's going to slide. He saves it. DJ Stagner going to remain the race leader, and we'll see whether or not Mikus can get back in the leading fight. But it looks like right now it's all DJ's as he gets up in front on his lonesome. Now 41 laps remaining. And a great save for Chad Mikus. I mean, he's not going to lose a position. It looks like he settles back in nicely for second here, even though now going to be pressured by Don Stevenson. That could have gone a whole lot worse, and he didn't even lose a spot out of that. He was in second, he is second, and he will continue to be second so long as he keeps himself where he is right now in terms of defense. So for Chad Mikus, not half bad. Could have been worse. And it could have been better, of course, not having himself in that situation, but when you're in that position, you just got to drive your way out of it. You don't want to quit, and especially now, knowing that Dover, not a good race for this team, you can't afford another opportunity letting it slip. So Mikus does just about the right thing there, and he's going to stay in it. He holds on, and now he's fighting for second as it looks like Don Stevenson looks under, and it's not going to be a repeat of what we saw previously. No contact. Mikus getting the run off the corner again, and it looks like he's going to drag it down to the inside portion of the dog leg. Try to keep that spot himself. 25 holds steady. Don Stevenson going to be third, and Rob Ackley now in fourth. Chuck Sweeting fifth, and Cody Erdman sixth, with Jacob Fife in seventh. And it's races like this that get us in a little bit of a different position in regards to who's up in front and who is not. Braxton DeWeese is in 10th. Matthew Funnels, Mr. Consistency, all of a sudden might end up being tied for overall top 5s this season. By the end of it, he's in 16th. Thomas Bressie going to find himself 15th, and Strategy at the worst of moments going to throw these guys for a loop. One unexpected caution from Stephen Wetton, and now the number 24 is way back. The 8 is even further behind. There's drivers like Ryan Potter, who lost what looks to be all hope for a good performance, and unfortunate for Potter again. And we mentioned it oh so many times, the trouble is just getting to the end in a good state for this 99 crew. And once more, Ryan Potter going to find himself on the worst side of misfortune. He's the one experiencing it, and right now going to be 19th, just ahead of Brandon Bernhardt, who is overall 20th. Don Stevenson once again going to look up to the high side here on Chad Mikus. and he'll send it deep, and we'll see how far he can send it through. Passing has been so challenging for these drivers, and we've seen it especially up in front, and when you're fighting with the best drivers, it becomes more challenging to do just about anything. But if the driver who has the position to begin with can defend it nicely, that's all that driver needs to do. There really isn't much else to it. Don Stevenson might have a chance to go up on that high side and make it work, though. Coming off of the corner again, Micus stays within a quarter panel, but it doesn't look like he's got the edge. Coming off of this corner, we'll really be able to see who's got it. I think it's Don Stevenson, and I think now it's going to be clear. Chad Micus tries to cut deep. That's all he can do, though, and he tries. Don Stevenson has second, and he's going to end up sliding up a bit higher, but I think right now he is firmly in that runner-up spot. Rob Ackley now going to look for third, and he's going to try to make it another spot taken from Chad Micus. Not a really great night for your championship contenders, and maybe now Chad Micus is going to be suffering as a victim of just that. Ackley going down and in and replicating what Micus did. It looks like for the driver with momentum, maybe even the high side can work. So Rob Ackley hoping to take it to the bottom side and make it happen, even if Micus is a little bit slower, but the high side prevails, and Micus goes on without much a problem. 33 laps remaining for DJ Stagner as he comes down and make it lap number 89. He has been in full control, and there's really little else to say about the 64's race tonight. He had a victory in dramatic fashion at Nashville, and tonight has been everything but dramatic for our leader. We've had a lot of good racing, but for DJ Stagner, he's had to defend a few times, and that's just about it. He made the right call, and maybe that was the most exciting portion of him waiting to go down a pit road, and then, of course, making that right pick not to. But otherwise, yeah, it's been all about the plain driving aspect of it, and that's where DJ Stagner has excelled. Not a driver we see all too often in terms of domination in this series. It's a very, very stacked field, and Stagner hoping to see himself as the second repeat winner of the season to match Thomas Bressie, and we mentioned the potential of that happening tonight, and right now it's present once again. Stagner looking to be the man to do just that with 30 laps to go. You're watching live on FTN. Right now going to be Stagner leading from Don Stevenson second, third going to be Chad Micus, and fourth Rob Ackley. Fifth place going to be Chuck Sweeting with Cody Erdman sixth, and it's Kyle Cooper seventh, and then it's going to be eighth for Jacob Fife, Seb Miller ninth, and Braxton DeWeese rounds out the top 10. Once again, if you're watching live on FTN, Cody Smith and company are representing Next Level Racing. Use the Next Level Racing referral link, which is in your description in the chat room tonight, to take your sim racing experience to the next level. With high-quality sim racing performance products since 2009, Next Level Racing is your #1 place to be for all sim racing hardware needs, and we hope you check out the referral link in the description below, as we'll return in just a moment's time. You're watching FTN's coverage of the Valley of the Sun 120, and we will return after a brief message from our friends at Next Level Racing. .26 laps to go. DJ Stagner up in front. A few drivers gaining, and you might see some familiar faces slowly but surely clawing back up now, as it's going to become 25 this time through. Jacob Fife to 7th from what was a Suboptimal qualifying start of 24th. He's your biggest mover tonight by a long shot. Gael Brooks is 27th to 14th. Not bad at all for him. Vinny Tigner up 5 from 18th to 13th. And you see now Michael Stroll going to be up to 10th after being caught up in the pit road shenanigans and losing oh so much time. And even Braxton Lewis here going to be back up to 8th. So maybe a chance to redeem himself, get up to Chad Mikus and keep the championship race a little bit tighter than it is right now, because I'm sure Braxton not happy about the fact he lost so many positions, but he's gotten away from Thunhorst and Bressie. The JTM guys having a lot of trouble adapting tonight, and I'm sure they didn't expect it. I don't think anyone did, but track position being such a big deal, there's no way to improvise when you get caught up in a situation like that. You go from being one of the top 5 quickest cars to being hardly within the top 5 or 15 in speed. And that's how it catches you. A caution at an inopportune time means everything. Green flag pit stops are concluded for tonight, and with 23 laps to go this time by, we would like to thank our camera provider at TrackCams22.com. The best cameras and the best broadcasters, they mix always. One reason, TrackCams22.com provides high-quality cameras for broadcasters, sim racing photographers, and amateurs who are just looking to look at their replays. Once again, check their stuff out at TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams as we will return after we crank it up with 22 laps to go. DJ Stagner finds himself the leader now with 15 laps to go. It's been the Stagner show all night long, and DJ's come back with quite the vengeance, winning at Nashville, and of course that was Maybe a little more surprised than anything else, but right now, it's all about that number 64 who's got himself in the mix, leading the way, and he has been dominant tonight. You look further back at a few other packs here, you see Chuck Sweeting running real good, maybe an opportunity for him to get up in the mix for a top 3 finish. He's on, fighting with Chad Mikas and Rob Ackley. There goes the 22. Domination Intimidation Racing with some infighting here, perhaps. There's the 22 right up top. Mikas going to go right down low. Chuck Sweeting still waiting in the wings. Here's to seeing what he can do as they come across the stripe yet again with 14 laps to go. Cody Urban right now going to be 7th, and it's going to be Braxton Luis who just got by for 6th. Braxton, much better recovery than what we saw from Matthew Thunhorst or Thomas Bresci and the like, and only drivers who have been comparable, maybe Michael Stroll. Stroll backed up into 10th, and he's been able to go back higher than his qualifying spot. So far, a real good run for Stroll in his first time running this brand new deep red livery. It's a nice paint scheme, I'll tell you that much. The Bass Pro Machine hunting down maybe Jacob Fife. Fife is in 9th. 8th is Cody Smith. DJ been in his own world all night long. Don Stevenson running a good 2nd place tonight. 7th to 2nd. Stevenson's been quiet, but we got to acknowledge that number 47 team has not been slow. 7th in the championship standings and 82 points out right now. Don Stevenson is right there in the mix with a driver like Thomas Bresci or Chad Mikas. For how quiet he's been relative to your other championship contenders, he's a driver to still keep looking out for here, and I would suggest keeping your eyes on what we're looking at right now. That number 47 team, not one to question. As he comes across the stripe once more, Stevenson working through, going to keep himself right now in that 2nd spot. He's about a 2nd off of Stagner. I don't think he's all too concerned about getting up there right now. The priority is making it to the finish in one piece. 10 laps to go. We come through this time by, and we would like to thank Next Level Racing for the final time tonight. Check out the referral code we left in the broadcast chat room to take your sim racing experience to the next level. Next Level Racing provides high quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. We'd additionally like to thank our sponsor at Tango Paints for the additional support in bringing this coverage to you. We'll be right back after our final promotional break of the night, courtesy of Next Level Racing and Tango Paints. 8 laps remaining, and DJ Stagner has been the class of the field all night long. Nobody quite like him tonight, and the number 64 has been there, done that for over 100 laps now, and he's looking to finish it off with only 7 more good ones in the tank. DJ coming across the line again, and that number 64 leads through once again. DJ Stagner going to find himself advantageous into turns 1 and 2. Coming through this time by, Stagner getting up to a few lap machines at him. We're going to be 2 down right now. Cal Filarski and Jeopardy being up next. Everyone else on the lead lap right now of those who are still racing. And Cody Smith just got by Chad Mikas. Mikas is dropping like a rock right now. He's down to 7th. Smith up to 6th. DeWeese to 5th. And Chuck Sweeting now going to be 4th as Rob Ackley is looking for his chance at the podium tonight. 6 laps to go. Sweeting going to go down to the inside. And it's going to be a fierce battle here for the top 3. Looks like Braxton DeWeese might even have a chance at getting in the top 3 when all is said and done, which will be a huge recovery for him from the back of the field, given that pit road change. And right now, Braxton going to be running right behind Sweeting and Ackley alike. Now, Chuck Sweeting down to the inside line, looking a bit lower. Here comes Braxton up top. He's going to take that 75 right there with him. And it's going to be now going through the dogleg with a little bit more speed, side by side, trying to outbrake Sweeting. Chuck's going to have it on the bottom side, so now Sweeting going to try to run low, get that nice enough exit off the corner, and an exit off the corner here that's satisfactory is going to do all the difference. It looks like Chuck will not get it. Braxton up to fourth. Rob Ackley in jeopardy now. He's going to try to hold on and keep third, but the Rackley crew is not done. Off the stripe again, 4 laps remaining. You've got Rob Ackley up in front of this pack of 3. It's a pack fight for the final spot inside of the podium, and they are still going at it tough. Now Thomas Bresting the 11th. Maybe a chance he gets up inside the top 10 and brings Matthew Thunhorst with them. But now it looks like indeed the 24 and 8 have finally gotten in their stride, and Rob Ackley going to be side by side now with DeWeese for the final step on the podium. Number 13 at the bottom, the 22 up top. And Rob looking to keep himself in it. He gets off the corner just nice enough, and just like that indeed, the 22 has himself third, only to slide up and lose it. Braxton gets inside the podium, and now it's going to be Rob Ackley looking for a double crossover. And with the momentum down low, he will put it there. Popsicle sticks this time by 2 laps to go. The final 2 laps here from Phoenix. Next time by, the race will be official, and this battle is still going. Braxton maybe with a slight advantage, though, and I think that coming off the corner here, he has got it. Braxton in the third, and he's got it firmly now, pulling a car length and a half over his rivals just behind. DJ Stagner coming across this time through, 119 laps in out of 120, and now it's time to see what happens for the final mile in the number 64's campaign. DJ Stagner has been dominant all night long, no doubt. For the start of this one in Phoenix, leading the first lap, he's led almost every lap today, and he's looking to cap it off with a checkered flag. It looks like now only 2 turns astray from his second win of the season. Stagner comes back, and he comes back with a vengeance. To the checkered flag this time by Stagner, making it through turns 3 and 4, and he will take the checkered flag alone. DJ Stagner, with his second win of the season, collects the checkered flag in the Valley of the Sun 120. It's Stagner's second in 2024, and the inaugural champ returns to the stomping grounds of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race. Stagner pulls through. It's Don Stevenson second and Braxton DeWeese third. DeWeese with a huge comeback to get inside the podium, and Don Stevenson best finish so far in the Ignite Series, matching his Octane Series best at Bristol a month and a half ago. And DJ Stagner going to escape us there. You see there's the 64 burning down the house, and we're checking in as Stagner continues his celebration. DJ now going to be taking it down and into pit road. Stagner running all throughout the circuit, and it looks like now a little bit too quick for the drone to keep up with. And DJ going to take himself a Polish victory lap of the circuit where that maneuver was made famous by Alan Kowicki in 1988. His first ever victory at this track, the first ever NASCAR Cup Series victory at the circuit as well. And now Stagner replicating it all these years later, tribute to the NASCAR Cup Series champion of 1992. Coming down and in this time by, Stagner has concluded his celebration, and he comes out with a victory. Above all else tonight, the class of the field by a wide margin. DJ Stagner will win from Don Stevenson, then in second, and third is going to be Braxton DeWeese. Fourth place goes to Chuck Sweeting, and it's going to be fifth. Then for Rob Ackley, no, he gets past at the very end. It's Chuck Sweeting fourth, Rob Ackley fifth. Cody Smith is then sixth, with Chad Mikas in seventh, and Cody Erdman is eighth. Thomas Bressi ninth. Seb Miller rounds out the top 10. 11th spot on the order is then and there going to be Jacob Fife, with Matthew Thunhorst 12th, Michael Stroll 13th, and Justin Morton in 14th. Vinny Tigner rounds out the top 15, and Kyle Cooper is 16th. It's Brian McFerrin 17th, and Gael Brooks 18th, Ryan Potter 19th, and Brandon Bernhardt is the final man in the top 20, finishing it off in the 20th spot. There's 21st, Cal Filarski with Adam Wood 22nd, Travis McQuistion in 23rd, and Stephen Wetton going to be 24th with Forrest Smith 25th, Alan Rawell in 26th, and Todd Thomas 27th and last of your drivers tonight. Your winner, DJ Stagner, in control from top to bottom, from start to finish. Just about no interruption. The celebration tonight for DJ Stagner, well, we'll see what he's thinking right now. Surely a victory to remember. The 64 does it all and then some. I think leading almost every lap on the day, DJ. From start to finish, nobody had a chance at challenging you, and coming through with your second victory this season, the 64 team comes back with a vengeance and wins here in Phoenix.
Yeah, like I've said before, in this league, it takes every bit of execution from qualifying to every pit stop of every race. So that was about as good as it can get for me personally. So, I mean, get the pole and then lead that many laps. It's unfortunate what happened to a few of the guys there. I think Matthew was just as good, if not a little better than me, probably. I think he got messed up on that green flag pit stop, and I already committed to myself that I was going to run long just in case that happened. I've seen it happen too many times, so just wanted to play it safe there. But yeah, it's unfortunate for them.
Well, it looks like for you, the biggest thing that kept you up there was that strategy call, staying out on the track for just a little bit longer, then getting the caution. Helped you out a big way, of course, staying out in front while your competitors faded back. What was it that led you to that call to stay a little bit longer, which made all the difference?
I mean, personally, I've seen it happen so many times, and my personal driving playbook, if you're kind of in control of the race, it's better to play it safe. So like for me, I had already talked about it. I was going to like 75 no matter what. I think Ryan Potter pitted on 60, my teammate. He did the opposite and it bit him. So it's like, it's really unfortunate. But my personal thoughts on that and opinions is always run long unless it's like crazy fall off. But here the fall off wasn't too terrible. So I mean I think it would have been fine to run long. That's just what I had planned on doing.
Well, it looks like making the right call with the strategy, playing it safe was the biggest of deals tonight, and it looks like it turned out just about your best race you've had in this league, and we expected to see some speed, of course. With 2 wins now, you're tied for the most in this series, and up next on the schedule is going to be another exciting one, but this time it's going to be Charlotte. We're in for a long one. 200 laps, 300 miles, going to be one of our longest races on the schedule. We saw it last year, and that's where you were crowned a champion for the first time in this series. Coming back to that track where we saw pit road might have been the biggest danger for you that time by. Maybe a chance to go for a better run this time through and come home with a chip. Rather, the victory instead of a chip. Of course, you won that one last year.
Yeah, I definitely remember that pit road incident. It is not going to be something I forget anytime soon. Luckily, everything still worked out that day, but most of the time it probably wouldn't. I enjoy Charlotte. I think it's going to be fun. Just a long endurance races, it's always fun. I think that's where you're honestly going to see the cream rise to, like the big that's going to separate your championship contenders from your pretenders. I think you'll get a good picture next week at Charlotte what you're in for the rest of the season, especially when it comes crunch time.
And it's going to be exciting to see what's up next on America's Home for Racing. Tonight, DJ Stagner dominant from top to bottom, and your second win this season here in Phoenix. Any final thoughts or shout-outs you'd like to make after tonight's performance?
Shout out Swamp Motorsports, Ryan Potter, Sevi, and they're racing tonight. I think Ryan, like I said, he got a little unlucky with that caution, but I think Sevi ended up with the top 10, so good for him. That's a good run. Shout out to those guys. We're all making each other better, and that's what's important.
Just like that, DJ Stagner coming through with a victory tonight in the Valley of the Sun 120. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with DJ Stagner on the move for Don Stevenson, it's a match of his best finish so far in both series. Second place at Bristol, which we saw in the Octane series, but tonight, second place in the Ignite series. Your best run so far on the Monday Night Tour. Very, very solid performance for the 47 crew. A little quiet at the start, but coming through and coming up. Second place here for this entire organization. It's definitely not a bad performance by any means, and something to look forward to, maybe to build up some momentum. Don, how you feeling after Phoenix?
I feel pretty good, actually. I qualified back in 7th, and I dropped back a couple spots at the beginning, but mostly just because got caught up, in the wrong lane. It was very easy to get trapped on the bottom and get trained a little bit, lose spots there. So had to be a little bit more aggressive there, being a part of, after that, and was able to really make some good passes and get up to about sixth, and actually pace wise, really felt like I was pretty strong, compared to the guys up front. Just needed track position. And then, we caught the little bit of a lucky break there with the caution coming out when it did. Trapped a few of the guys that had pitted in front of me, behind us and everything. So was able to take advantage of that. Had a fun battle with Chad there for second. And I mean, maybe if I didn't lose as much time there and had to use up as much tires there getting around him, maybe I might have been able to hang with DJ a little bit better. But DJ was pretty strong on that long run. I don't really know if it would have made much difference either way. I mean, he was pretty strong. He deserved to win tonight.
And tonight, that pit stop made such a difference. DJ Stagner still coming away, but for the 47 crew, it was a tight battle for everyone inside the top 10 from 2nd to 10th. It was so close in terms of speed and pace, and we were looking to have ourselves a really hard fight to see who would end up on the podium, but it changed. That's for certain after that pit stop cycle. And for you, we asked DJ Stagner what led him to his call, and we'd have to ask you, how long were you expecting to go before we got that caution before coming down to pit road?
Honestly, I was actually gonna play it a little bit. I wasn't gonna pit anywhere around halfway. I was gonna try to be one of the last ones to pit, because for one, I didn't think the tire wear times weren't falling off that as much as you would see at a Darlington or Dover or a track like that. I mean, the tire fall off was pretty minimal here. I mean, I think it was maybe a second overall, maybe a second and a half. But so I was going to probably push it to about, until I could be one of the last ones to pit, and then see if I could gain a time advantage there in the back half of the run, because saw it worked pretty well in the real life cup race yesterday. So was kind of curious, was going to kind of try that because I was running back in fifth or sixth, and felt like I could have gotten back up there if, it would have played out. But, like I said, and also the upside about staying out longer is, it opens out yourself up to, catch a lucky caution like we did. I did the opposite of it last week and basically nosed it into the pit wall and ended up killing or hurting a lot of people's races. So it was nice to be on the other end of that tonight.
Coming out with a big benefit and your best finish this season, tying your best in the Octane series. And up next, going to be a long haul at Charlotte. What's it going to take maybe to succeed at a circuit where it all comes down to having that long-term strategy put together, and having to go long, of course, means you got to be thinking every single lap of the way. Maybe a chance to come home with another good run next week.
Well, I like Charlotte. Charlotte has been really good to me in the past. I can't remember what. I think it was probably in the Cup Series, in the Octane Series a couple seasons ago. I won there, and have won in other different leagues and series there at that track. I mean, I do like that track, but the competition's very stiff in this league. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge, but it is every week. Like I said, a lot of really fast drivers in this league. So just do the best we can. And if we can put ourselves to have a chance at the end, that's all you could really ask for. So, just do our thing, do the best we can, and see how the cards fall.
And just like that, Don Stevenson, the number 47 team. If you have any final shout-outs, make sure to let us know.
Yeah, I want to say hi to my lovely wife here. Wish her a happy Mother's Day from yesterday, and wish my mom a happy Mother's Day from Sunday as well. Thank all the admins here, all the drivers that support the league. Um, thank you, David, for the booth and doing the broadcasting in the booth there every week. And looking forward to seeing everyone out tomorrow night at Kansas in the Octane Series, and next week at Charlotte.
We can't wait for what's next as we move on to Charlotte for the second time in this league's history. Don Stevenson, second place finish tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Stevenson on the move. The driver who started third will finish third, but that's not really all the story for Braxton Deweese. Tonight, the result is a little bit deceiving because it wasn't really all third place for you after that second half. A huge climb back up and making it up inside of the top three seemed to be out of reach even 15 laps before, but you made it happen, and now bottom step of the podium, a big deal, especially in that championship battle. How about tonight for this 13 crew?
Yeah, that last run there coming from 14th to 3rd, I'm really happy with that, especially with how the passing was. I felt like you could, I made passes on the bottom there, past some of them cars, but that first half, you couldn't really do anything on the bottom. I felt like if you did, you had to wait on the long run, and then you were just having to send it in there. I learned stuff on the second half, passing a couple of them cars that I wish I could have tried when I was up there in the front in the first half, but that's what happens in these races. You do them and you learn some. So just happy that we could come from back there in the middle of the pack to third, and still have a good night, and finish where we were going to be around. So all in all, couldn't be happier with what we had handed to us there. So just glad we could come out with a third.
And tonight, the podium was not easy to get back up to, being shuffled out of the top 15 thanks to the pit stop cycle. What was it like having to drive your way back up on that final 60-lap run, knowing that's not a lot of time at this track, and you made every lap count?
Yeah, I just knew with how many laps there were, you had to be on it. And the first couple laps there, I kind of got loose off of, I did get loose off of, I believe it was 2, and checked up a little, and Travis kind of hit me in the rear and got into the wall. He couldn't really do anything. So I went and apologized to him, but, apologizing doesn't really help a finishing position. So I know he's frustrated, and he has all the right to be. So I just want to say sorry to him again. I don't like doing that stuff at all. Nobody likes doing that stuff. So, just going to, go move forward, and, going to work with him a little bit on like super speedways or something, just try to help him out as much as I can. Just like I said, we're happy to get through there and get to third. It was tough, but fun.
And a tough fight to get back up there. Going to give you some success before we head into our Memorial Day break. One more race, and right now, you're getting that points lead stretched a little bit further before we head on to Charlotte. And now, breaking the tie last week, extending it this time around. What's it going to take maybe to even break through further before we head into our first string of breaks this season? Charlotte, a tricky track for 300 miles, and that distance almost longer than any other race on the schedule. It's going to be endurance next time we go at it.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, with Charlotte being endurance, you want to be there at the end. So, want to try to take care of the car and learn throughout the race, and try to put myself in position at the end, and to try to maintain or gain any more points. I just got to keep hitting my marks as much as I can. If we get obstacles thrown at us like tonight, and we need to prevail like we did, that always helps. So, just keep digging and digging. So, that's what we're going to try to do. And I feel really good about how it's going, so we're gonna try to keep it up and see what we can do, and hopefully we can have another good run at Charlotte, and be a couple spots better there.
Now bumping up that points lead after a solid night here in Phoenix. Braxton Deweese, if you have any final shout-outs to make sure to let us know.
Yeah, for sure. First night with the unrivaled car, debuted under the night lights tonight, so it looked pretty good, I thought, with the shininess. So I figured today would be pretty good race to debut it, and I'm glad we could get a good finish out of it as well. So hopefully we could run it a couple more times this year and have some success with it. And shout out to Unrivaled Photography. He does a lot of my he does all my pictures for the Facebook posts that we do. So big shout out to him. He always does a pretty good job. Anybody can hit him up. He's pretty much on all the social media platforms. So give him a holler. And I also want to thank Interstate Forward, Ben's Publical, Jeans on Main, Allen's Arts Images, Deweese Renovations, Booth 34 Diecast, Blaze Designs, Bully Dog Coffee Company. We got a little thing on the rear bumper. It's got a code for 10% off if you want to go try some coffee over there. It's Brax5. So if you use that in the checkout, you can get you 10% off, like I said. So it's a pretty good deal, and something's better than nothing. So shout out to him, and shout out to everybody that makes the races go on and the broadcast. You, David, I appreciate you doing what you do. You're pretty damn good at what you do. So I appreciate you for that, and I appreciate everybody tuning in and supporting. So on to Charlotte.
On to Charlotte, Braxton Deweese with a come from behind eventual third place finish. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, David. Have a good one.
Braxton on the move. We've spoken all your top 3 drivers tonight here from the Valley of the Sun 120. Deweese comes home third, Don Stevenson second, and DJ Stagner was the class of the field. Nobody besting this number 64 tonight. Undeniable that DJ Stagner had what it took to win here at the virtual Phoenix Raceway. And thank you all for watching live on FTN tonight's coverage from the virtual Avondale, Arizona in the Integrity Ignite Series for the Valley of the Sun 120. Stay tuned tomorrow night because we're going to have coverage of the Integrity Octane Series at Kansas, and it's going to be the Windy City bringing you all back on FTN. We hope to have you there as well, the virtual Phoenix Raceway, host of tonight's event. I've been David Kreutz, your commentator and producer, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching live on FTN. We hope to see you tomorrow night for our coverage of the Integrity Octane Series, and we hope you have a great night.